final topic, Matt.
It scares me.
It's October.
Yep.
So we're going to start this in this episode with our top 5 horror movies.
Yes.
Rawr.
Scary.
I'm going to put a skeleton noise here. I'm just kidding. It's too much editing.
Yep.
We'll start with you, Matt. Number
right.
5.
My number 5. It's a movie. I don't know if you've seen it. It's called Chud. C.H.U.D.
What's it stand for?
It stands, well, it's got 2 meanings. I only remember one. Cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller.
Is this a trauma film?
No.
It sounds like a trauma film.
No. It was actually, this was one of the first movies that, when I'm thinking back to my childhood, there was a few movies that was like literally scared me. And this was one of them. It was about the opening scene is this girl's walking. It's dark out. It's New York City. She's walking. She's got her little white dog that's on a leash, and she's walking, and she drops her purse by a manhole. She reaches down to get it, and this hand comes out of the manhole and grabs her foot and drags her in. And
terrifying. Along
with the music, the music has a lot to do with this. It just had really awesome music that just gave you the creeps. But just going on through the movie, it pretty much what was going on was, spoiler, this came out in 84. So if you ain't seen it by now, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. No, actually, you know what? Spoiler on all this.
Yeah. So
go away if you don't.
Yeah, if you hear a movie and maybe you don't want to hear about it, then, but I'll just say it for this one. It turns out that New York evidently was disposing of toxic waste in their sewers, where evidently there's a large homeless population, and it was mutating the homeless into weird looking alien kind of people with sharp teeth, and they liked eating people. So I don't know. It was good. It had weird humanoids in it, and I enjoyed that a lot. So it was a movie I watched a lot when I was younger, even though it scared me on VHS.
Have you watched it recently?
No, I got the DVD though.
Do you think it would be as scary? Well, not as scary now, but do you think you would enjoy it as much?
Yeah. No, I would totally enjoy it. Yeah, I know I would.
That's cool. Well, my number 5 is probably the only classic film I have on my list. I'm assuming yours is probably full of them, or at least maybe I'll be surprised.
Maybe.
Mine's The Blob.
I wanted, yeah, this is, you're not talking about the 51. You're talking about the more
80s or whatever.
80s one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't even remember this movie for the most part, except for different scenes.
That movie is good.
Do you know it's like an alien, right? Like came out on a meteorite or something?
Yeah, it came down from a meteorite.
Yeah. Man, that is awesome.
No, that movie was good. I considered it. It was on. I didn't quite make short list, but I remembered it, and
Fair enough.
It crossed my mind.
This is the gelatinous cube right there.
Yep.
Blob form. Oh man, I wonder if they have this on Blu-ray.
I don't know. The thing that killed me about it was so fast. It was
just everything happened. Well, bam, 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 bam.
Well, no. The blob was fast.
Oh yeah, right. That's what I mean. He's just there. He takes over a whole building almost immediately.
Yeah, it wasn't like the old black and white one where it was I don't know how people got caught up in that thing. Yeah. It was so slow, but
it's kind of certain zombies.
Yeah, but this one would run you down.
Yeah.
You couldn't run away from it because it would arms would come out and grab you and stuff. That's a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, really fun. What's your number 4, Matt?
My number 4 is a more recent movie. This was actually a Joss Whedon horror film.
Really?
Yes. Cabin in the Woods.
Oh.
Have you seen this one?
This is the one where they start she starts itching her leg and it's all skin and stuff.
That's Cabin Fever.
Man, we talked about this before and it's the same thing. Anyway, tell me about that.
Cabin in the Woods is it starts out, so from the get-go, you know this. This is not a spoiler. If you watch it, you'll see this in the very first scene. It's this weird, they're in a TV production area and they're having a meeting. Well, it turns out that evidently these teenagers go to this cabin and they force a horror movie upon them, I guess. It's all produced. They
almost oh man, what's that? What's that one with Jim Carrey?
Yes.
What's it called? Dang it.
Yes.
It's because
That one where like everything around them's fake or whatever.
But he thinks everything's real, but nothing is.
Right. Yeah. It's not quite like that, but it is in a sense that there's people watching them and they're kind of like doing things to force them to do other things that eventually will release monsters and crabs. So
gotcha.
It's pretty good. It had Thor. I'll just say Thor. I can't think of his real name, but he's Thor. In it. He's in it. It was one of his first movies. He
got pretty big out of that movie, I think, right?
I mean, Thor obviously made him big, but maybe he got noticed. I don't know. I saw that movie quite a bit after it came out. So,
well, I mean, I wonder if that's why he got the role for Thor.
It could have been
from that movie.
It could have been.
Jim Carrey fake life movie is the Google #1 suggestion for what I just typed in. Fake life movie. It's called The Truman Show.
The Truman Show, yeah.
So,
all right, but yeah, Cabin in the Woods, good stuff.
My number 4 is slightly recent. It's The Descent. Have you ever seen this?
Is that what they're in the cave or whatever, and the crazy looking monsters and stuff? I saw the last half of it.
Well, this is all from memory, but essentially it's like a group of girls. They're rock climbers. Mm-hmm. They go to this underground cavern that they're going to rock climb through, but it's not really. This girl finds one that somebody tells her, or she sees something about it. And they're supposed to go to one that's really well known, but then they end up going to this one and they're like, well, how do we get out of here? Cause they fall down basically and they can't get out the way they came in.
Right.
They go through there and they find like, it's very just claustrophobic because it's always like really close shots or really far away shots, but you can't see anything other than their torchlight kind of thing.
Right.
And I forget the overall idea, but there's like a bunch of World War II people in there or something that died, but then they evolved into like crazy monsters.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they can't see anything. They all do it through sound. So there's a bunch of times when they're laying there freaking out, but as long as they don't make noise, they can't be seen.
Right. Yeah.
Stuff like that. So the ending, I hate when the endings suck, Matt. It's like, it's not, I don't know. Spoiler alert. We're going to stop saying that now. The ending is literally like, she's like the last one. She falls down this thing. She wakes up. There's tons of skeletons and bones everywhere.
Right.
And she sees the light at the end of the tunnel. She leaves it. And then she starts hitchhiking and finds a car, gets in and she starts telling this person or whatever. And then the person just turns and like, I don't remember what she does, like makes some kind of face and stuff. And then she wakes up and then she's back in the cave and there's no exit. It's like, boo.
Almost a happy ending.
It's like almost, but too bad.
Yeah.
Yank. It's like there's that dollar on the string.
Right. Well, I mean, was it the fact that it wasn't a happy ending or was it just the whole...
I think it's just too safe. It's just...
The dream.
Know. Yeah, the whole wake up from a dream thing is kind of overplayed.
Right.
Played out. I mean, you could still do it or for whatever, that's fine, but you got to do it a little bit more. I guess, I don't know, in the end, the first time I watched it, I was surprised.
Right.
It's like, whoa. Oh, it's cheesy. Oh. That's pretty much what I thought it was cheesy. I didn't like that.
Right.
But the movie's really good. I actually bought it. Literally, I don't usually watch movies or keep up with them too much. I just buy them when I see cover. I judge a book by its cover a lot.
Right.
That and Black Friday, I just buy tons of crap. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I picked this movie up. It was many years ago, pretty much the year it came out. And I really liked it. I watched it multiple times.
Sweet. What are we on? 3?
Yep.
My 3. This is childhood stuff here. Well, I say childhood, late 80s, I believe. I should have wrote dates out on these. But there was a movie called Critters. I don't know if you ever saw Critters or not. But
are they those fluffy things with big mouths with teeth?
Yeah, and they can shoot harpoons off the back of their neck or whatever, or top of their head. They can like...
I didn't know that part. But.
Yeah, they can lean over and like shoot harpoons and it like poisons you and knocks you out and then they'll come over and eat you. But yeah, Critters 1 and 2. Just... They were that movie's kind of comical because they have subtitles and the stuff that they say you laugh at.
Like the things are talking in some weird alien
they're talking in an alien language, but they have subtitles in the movie, and I always thought that was so funny. And the first movie's really fast. It's a fairly short movie. I think it's barely over an hour long, if I remember right. It's fairly short though. But then they made a second one. And I don't know. There's one part where the critters in their last ditch effort get together and make a big ball, and they're rolling around.
I remember this.
Yeah, and they're rolling around. If they roll over you, they like.
Were they all different colors?
No,
they're all the same color.
Yeah, they're all like blackish blue looking. But yeah, they get that ball going, and
they run over that one guy, and it just ends up being a skeleton.
Yeah,
afterwards?
Exactly right. They because it's all the mouths just chomping away.
Yeah,
and they bite you as they roll over you and stuff.
Man,
but it's got the bounty hunters that can take on the different forms of whatever they want to, and it's I don't know, just good. I
kind of want to watch this again now because you're bringing out some nostalgia here.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I just always enjoy those. These are also movies I'm saying other than Cabin in the Woods, but these are movies that I've watched like probably the most out of my movie collection as far as horror genre I guess goes. So that's partly why where these are coming from. Yeah,
The Blob is probably the only one I haven't seen anytime recently. The rest of them I've seen multiple times. And recently.
Right.
Like when I say recently, probably the last 10 years.
Yeah. And Critters was actually, I'll probably get shady eyes looking at me, but I felt like those movies were safe enough for my kids to watch. It wasn't so scary.
That's a terrible parent.
Yeah. They weren't so scary and so gory that I didn't think it would like affect my kids at all.
It has a dark comedy relief to it too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's there's comic relief all throughout both movies. Yeah. So it's, I will say, though, Critters 2 gave me a fear of, so again, this actually kind of affected me, and I wasn't like young when this movie came out, but in Critters 2, there was a part where they find a bunch of eggs left over from the first Critters in Critters 2, and they hand them out for Easter because it's set in Easter time. So like all the church is handing out these critter eggs to everybody to take home and like cut, paint, and all the kids take them home. It's like, look at this weird egg I got. Well, there's one of the families, the egg hatches, and the critter baby is like in the little girl's room, like running around underneath her bed, and like she's flopping on the bed. So like he sees her hand hanging off one end, and he's like running over to try and bite it, and then she like rolls over just in time, obviously, so he doesn't bite her, and then her leg falls off the other end, but It gave me a fear of actually hanging body parts off my bed, so I won't.
Like laying there with.
I won't. I will not hang my arm or my leg off my bed. It doesn't affect me so much now, but just from practice.
No, I remember that. I mean, as a kid, I probably wouldn't do that either. Like I know you would put one leg down,
right?
Yeah, I would not do that at all.
Well, not even down, just not even hanging anywhere off the bed,
right?
Because I don't want.
Outside the cover.
Yeah, outside the cover. Yeah, because the cover's your shield.
Yeah, it protects you from everything.
Yep. Jason can't get through that.
My number 3, Matt, and before we go farther, I just want to say that these are really personal favorites. I know we call this a top 5 horror movies.
We're not movie critics.
We're not,
These are not the best horror movies of all time.
Right, yeah. You look these up online, it's going to be totally different. These are just things that are personal to us.
Right.
So anyway, 28 days later, you alluded to it earlier.
Yep.
I mean, by far, when I first saw this, first off, the zombies, they just started running. You're like, oh, the game has changed.
Yes.
That's pretty much it.
No, that movie, I went to the theaters and saw that opening scene is intense as hell. And it was like, I was sitting down watching it. It was like, they're going to start like this?
Yeah.
This is how the movie's going to start.
I'm pretty sure it was this one, I'm pretty sure it was not weeks later, but this one where like one of my favorite scenes is he looks up and the drop just goes boop in his eye and he knows he's screwed.
Yeah, that was in the first one. That was the father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just like, because he doesn't say anything to anybody, right? He just
he starts telling him to get away from him because his daughter tried to come over and like console him or whatever, and he was like, get her away from me and take care of me. Kind of deal. He knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, that was just a crazy scene because he straight up he knew what to do.
Right.
And I mean, it's just so boop.
Yep.
I don't know, man. It was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yep.
So anyway, 28 days later, I like 28 weeks later, but I don't think it's like, I don't know. I think that the impression has already been made. So it didn't come out the gate like the first one.
Now, the opening to that one was just as intense, though.
Yeah, it was. The opening was great, too. weren't they supposed to make it 21 months later?
They alluded like they were going to, but
then weeks later, then centuries, decades.
I don't know if I don't know if it was they alluded or we just felt like they should have.
There should be another one.
So I don't know how that happened or what the deal was with it, but
yeah.
My number 2, I'm cheating a little bit, but I'm going to say Evil Dead 2: Army of Darkness and the remake. I'm leaving out Evil Dead, the original. Say what you want. I didn't really care for it.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing as the second one.
Exactly. Somewhat.
It's a remake. Number 2 is a remake of the first one.
I don't know if they call it that, but that's how I feel it is. Why would he go back to that cabin?
Yeah, why?
That stuff happened the first time, and he's going to go back.
Hey guys, we had this really good time last time.
Let me bring another girl back to this cabin. Yeah, I kind of felt. I've always felt like it was just a remake. It was a
forced sequel in the form of a remake.
Yes. So, but that, and then the Army of Darkness, and then like I said, I've seen the remake of the original, and it entertained me. So.
I get it. I wanted to put Army of Darkness on this list. I don't find it as a horror movie.
Right.
But Evil Dead 2, yes.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And the remake, definitely. It's intense.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're talking about the one that just came out like a couple years ago.
A couple years ago.
What did you liked that a lot?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
That one's like way.
It's very dark. It's really intense. Now, what about Ash versus the Evil Dead? Have you seen that? We talked about this before, I think, on a series. I think we watched the first 2 episodes and I just wasn't getting into it. But evidently it's the second season just started, I think. So
maybe
it's evidently doing
DVD.
well.
Check it out.
Well, I mean, we got to stay. We could watch it if we wanted.
Oh, I see.
Maybe if we get slow time or something.
Is it more comical?
It's gearing more towards like comedy and campy.
Oh, yeah, campy.
Somewhat cheesy.
I read about this because it's supposed to take place after Army of Darkness, but they don't mention Army of Darkness at all.
It is after. It's like he gets another job and he's like talking about how he saved the world, and like that's how the first episode starts, and all the kids he's working with are like, yeah, well, whatever. And then stuff does go down, and then they're like, oh, you weren't kidding.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
That kind of deal. So, because then whenever the demons or whatever start popping into people, then he knows how to take care of them, and then everyone's like, oh, let's get with him. He wasn't lying.
He's not crazy.
Yeah, he's fought these things before, evidently, for real. So it was. We might revisit it and give it another shot because we only watched 2 episodes. Maybe it gets better.
Do you have the Evil Dead remake, or did you just go see it in theater?
No, I think we bought it. I think that's how we saw it. We didn't go to the theater.
Oh,
but we did watch it at home, and I believe we bought it.
Oh, maybe I'll borrow that.
It's not Blu-ray. Do you got a regular DVD player?
Blasphemy, Matt.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. My number 2 is the Dawn of the Dead remake, the 2004 one.
My short list.
Fair enough.
Both of them. The original and the remake, but the remake's good. But go ahead.
This is probably a lot darker than the original, by far, I think. I mean, the first, I guess it's mostly just because the way film had progressed.
It's grittier.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably, it's not dark like in Evil Dead remake dark.
Yeah.
But it is way more intense.
Yeah.
But
it's definitely more intense.
Yeah.
Well, they can run, which I don't know. Well, continue. Go ahead.
Oh, we're going to have a zombie debate here.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you my thoughts. Let me tell you my thoughts. Then we'll talk about zombies. I liked this movie. Was awesome. It almost was my number 1, but obviously it's not. I just like the scene where, they're trying to send the dog.
Yeah.
To the gun shop.
Right.
Because that guy, he's needing food and stuff like that.
Right.
Bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you think about the ending? I'm just going to cut to the chase.
The ending, do
you remember it?
No, I remember it. You talking about them leaving the guy on the docks, or you talking about the very end where they get to the other island? Yeah. I'm fine with movies that don't have happy endings.
I'm fine with that too. It would have been cool if they got to the island and it wasn't infected, and then they could make a sequel based on that. Right. But it ended like, it ended crazily.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look at this happy little island. Oh, go to the boat.
Yeah.
And then they all die. Spoiler alert.
Listening to Disturbed.
Oh, was that it?
Down with the Sickness was what's playing whenever on the ending credits.
Oh, well.
Yeah. Just saying.
Better choice of songs for that.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. The movie's really good, though. I mean, man, it is incredibly crazy. I remember watching it for the first time. I'm just like, this is great.
Yeah. The part where they bring in like that old lady or whatever that was bit. And whenever she gets up and starts running around, which evidently I've read that's a guy in a suit, but that part was wow.
Yeah.
That was pretty nuts. And just.
Is she the one she was like kind of bedridden for a lot of it?
She was like, whenever the group showed up, she was like in a wheelbarrow.
It's like somebody's mom or something. Yeah.
And, but I mean, even when it went down, like the daughter walking in the room and whenever the wife's trying to escape and everything and stuff like that. And, yeah, that's pretty intense and everything.
It makes you like The Walking Dead is one thing. Living in that world is another.
Yeah.
Because The Walking Dead is still TV.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it still has that feeling of television, but this being a movie form and the way they just portray all the violence and stuff is like, this is no joke.
Right.
The Walking Dead, I feel like sometimes you feel like they're superheroes in a way because they're running around just be like doing the things they need to do.
Right.
But this is like, oh my God, what do we do?
We're just normal people.
Yeah.
We all died.
But talking about zombies, Matt, what were you going to say? Do you like when movies have zombies that run?
I didn't mind it in that movie, but the thing that always made me like zombies was just the fact that they make you feel claustrophobic and you'll get overrun.
You like the horde mentality rather than the super zombie.
It's the whole fear of, one or two zombies ain't going to scare you, even 20. If they're spread out, you can run through them.
Yeah.
But it's when that big horde comes and you just can't do nothing about it. They can, the weight of them can knock doors down. The weight of them can get through your gate, whatever. It's just that part of it. I guess the foreboding, it's coming eventually.
Right.
And, just like I said, the claustrophobia of they're everywhere. I can't go anywhere just because there's so many of them. Like I said, beginning stages of outbreak where there's just some here and there, you can kind of get around okay. It's no big deal, but I didn't mind it. I don't mind it when they do run though, especially in that it made it more intense.
And I hope it's not on your list, which I highly doubt it is. But was that zombie movie with
Woody Harrelson?
Brad Pitt.
Oh,
Zombie
World War Z?
World War Z. Yes, because they had the mentality, but it's almost like they were a one entity.
Yeah.
Which I thought looked stupid.
Yeah, I didn't really care for that one too much.
No. But Zombieland, ball.
Zombieland is great.
It would not be on this list.
I don't know. I was just thinking.
That's a comedy.
That's true. I guess it is just a comedy.
Yeah.
It's just gory, I guess, at times. It's not really.
There's nothing scary about it in the slightest.
Not really. The clown.
That movie's so great. In the beginning when it's talking about rule number.
Yeah, all the rules.
Yeah.
I need Twinkies.
Hey, it's a real thing. It happened.
Yeah.
Just not with zombies involved. Anyway, what honorable mentions? Do you have any of those before we move on to number one? Or
was that your two?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 2 honorable mentions. I didn't do 5 like I normally do.
Matt's cheating and doing top 10s over here.
My one of my honorable mentions is just because I've only seen it twice. It's fairly new, but it's called Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It is also somewhat of a comedy. Actually, it is a comedy, but it is.
Well, let's just put Hocus Pocus on here, Matt.
Well, it's got tons of gore, and it's more of. I don't know. Maybe it's not a horror movie now that I'm thinking about it, but it's just a good movie. It's funny. It does have Alan Tudyk in it from Firefly. Yeah, so he is in it. He's one of them. I don't remember if he's Tucker or Dale, but he is in it. But it's a good, fun movie to watch. And then Killer Clowns from Outer Space, especially with all the clown stuff going on right now.
That's a trauma film, right?
No. God. The only trauma film I know of
Romeo and Juliet.
The only one I know by him is Toxic Avenger. I don't know anything else he's ever done.
Oh, well.
But No, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Very campy and goofy, but I mean, it was obviously a horror movie. They'd string you up in cotton candy and suck the blood out of you with crazy straws and shoot crazy popcorn at you and stuff like that. But no, that was and like I said, with all the clown stuff going on, I figured I'd mention it.
Fair enough. I've got a couple honorable mentions here. The first one is I Am Legend, but I don't really consider it a horror movie.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't really put it on this list, but it does have a lot of horror movie aspects to it. Like there's the whole middle part where he finally finds all the dead people.
Well, when
crazy people.
Well, when he's going through that, when his dog runs in.
Yes. Like that whole section of the movie is very horror movie.
Yes.
The rest of it is just like survival. Like it's just more of like a psychological thing.
Right.
So
yeah, he's hitting on mannequins and
yeah, having his like routine over and over and just showing you that he's absolutely insane. You know, he is not in the right state of mind. But that's why I feel like I wanted to put on this list because I actually really like that movie, but at the same time, it's not really a full-fledged horror film, so I left it off. Second one is Species. Do you ever see that?
I never saw that. I know what movie you're talking about though, but
yeah, I like this so much I made a role-playing game out of it.
Really?
And then at Gen Con a couple of years ago, one of the RPG vendors actually had a Species role-playing game. And I was like, $3. I bought it straight up just for nostalgia because it meant a lot to me because I liked that movie so much that I made an RPG out of it for some odd reason. I guess that's more of like an action horror movie in a way. It's probably not even horror for the most part. But anyway, lastly, Tremors.
Tremors is good.
Yeah, Tremors are good, but it's got a lot of action and
it's more of action comedy.
Yeah.
In a sense, but no, that's a good movie.
What was it? The first one or the second one where he had that anti-tank gun or whatever, that giant rifle?
What was it? I think it was an elephant gun.
Oh, maybe that's what he shot through an engine block and a brick wall. And all this other crap.
Yeah, that's when it. Well, he didn't shoot through it. Maybe. I'm thinking when it busted into the basement and it was Reba McEntire and the one dude that had all the guns and they just were breaking out every gun they had to shoot it down.
No, I think at one point, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought at one point he was showing them the power of it and he shot through stuff just to show them what it could do.
Oh,
I mean, that could have been in the second film.
Maybe, yeah, I don't, because I'm not remembering that.
Anyway, that's Tremors. Tremors, Kevin Bacon. All right, Matt, are you looking something up? Do you want me to go with my number one first?
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right. We're going to talk about my number one here. Saw.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. For some odd reason, I saw Saw. It never get old. I saw that movie and then I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. It's probably more gory. It has a lot more gore to it, but here's the thing. It's definitely a movie that you can say, I never want to be in that situation.
Oh, yeah.
At all. And so that's why I feel like it's on, because it's a realistic horror movie.
Yeah.
Whereas other things have a lot of supernatural elements to it, like zombies and monsters and things like that. This is literally some crazy dude just put you into this room and tied you up to stuff. And he made it a game. And man, it was just, that movie was awesome. And then for some reason, every single year past that, I kept buying the DVDs of the other ones.
They got you.
I saw all 7 of them.
Is there 7 of them?
I saw all 7 Saws. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't so far away, I'm pretty sure like one of them said the final chapter or something. I think it was like the 6th one.
Yeah. Yeah. They did one more after the final.
Yeah.
Yep.
They tried to put a storyline to it. It was grasping at Saws. No, I don't know. The other ones were okay, and they were like some of the games they put them in. It just turned into more like, I don't know, like violence, like more gore,
right?
Situations where people had to like saw their hands in half and stuff just to fill up a pint,
right?
Like a blood vial before it would open the door and stuff like that. So I feel like the first one is completely different than the rest of them. But man, did you ever see it? The Saw, the first one at least.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you which all ones I've seen, but I've seen a couple of them.
Oh, yeah.
I've definitely seen the first one. I mean, you couldn't go without seeing the first one when it came out.
What do you think about it? I mean, obviously, maybe you didn't think about it, but would it even made your top 10?
I didn't think of it. I've never been the biggest fan of them, but
That's what I'm saying. Like you have to separate the first film from the rest of the films.
Yeah.
Because it is slightly different as far as feel.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a lot different as far as
feel.
feel.
Especially, you know what? Even though it didn't make a lot of sense, I did like the spoiler alert. When the dead guy in the room got up, that was kind of like, what? That's
probably one of the only times I've ever stood up off the couch like, oh, this was amazing.
Yeah, so
I love some of my favorite movies. We talked about this before is twist endings.
Oh yeah.
And that is like nuclear bomb head going on.
Now, unfortunately, I watched something on YouTube that was like all the things wrong with Saw.
Why'd you do that?
I know. And it was about 15 minutes and there was a lot. So
yeah, plot holes and things like that.
It was all plot holes.
You can look at any movie and they have plot holes.
Yeah, that's pretty much all it was plot holes.
Yeah.
And but
like I'm sure you could say that about the Sixth Sense and how he's doing everything. And
right.
Whatever. Which probably would be on this list if it was more. I don't really consider it horror.
Yeah, no.
It's creepy.
Yeah, it's creepy.
But Matt,
this is my number one.
What's your number one? My
number one is, I've talked about it before, not today, but The Thing.
I figured this was it.
Yeah. I don't know it's weird. I cannot wait for my kids to get to an age where I think it's okay for them to watch this. And I think it's going to be a while. So people out there don't freak out on me. I mean, they're 10 and 8. It's going to take a little bit because there was actually a point where, and it was probably last year, I was like, I think they might be able to handle it. But then, I don't know. Some of the stuff, like I was reading the parental guide on IMDb, and
I didn't know there was, it tells you, like there's a parental guide that says this is why your kids might not like
on any movie. Now it's all like fan written.
Okay, yeah.
So it might not be on every movie, but if someone took the time to write a parental guide to let you know, like they usually do like on a scale of 10, how much violence, how much sex, how much drug use and stuff like that. And when it, on each category, it will specifically usually tell you like what exactly was in the movie that why they calculated their score up. One thing I forgot about, and whenever I was reading it though, was it mentioned the sounds can be kind of horrifying that the monsters were making usually when they were dying. And I was like, or even when they were just forming or whatever. And I was kind of like, actually, that's probably one of the worst things.
Oh, it's just really creepy.
The sounds are just really, they're haunting. You know, so like the noises it makes are really like, That's
how you mess kids up, man. You won't even watch it and you start playing that stuff at night when he's asleep.
So
evil.
I don't know. It's probably going to be a long while before they watch this one, but you know, I've said before, I like creatures, I like monsters, and this just had a bunch of different things, whether it be the chest with teeth in it or the
mimics.
The spider crawling head or whatever it was just, I like creatures.
I obviously have not seen this movie. Like, I think I have, like, way back when, like, maybe when I was, like, 18 or so.
Yeah?
But I didn't know it had all that stuff in it.
Really? Yeah. No.
It's like a 3-hour movie, though, right?
No, I don't think it's that long.
Oh, it's a 300,000-page book. Oh, was he looking it up?
Is the book that long?
I thought the book was really long.
Well, it's based on a book called...
I'm thinking of It.
Yes. Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, The Thing was based off a book called, I think it's called Is Anyone There?
I'm surprised you didn't put It on your thing.
That movie's awful.
Fair enough.
To me. Now, to watch it now, I think it's awful.
Are you done talking about The Thing? Well, you can come back to what you're going to say.
It's got Kurt Russell in it.
Fair enough. Oh, Kurt Russell's awesome.
Yeah, Kurt Russell's in it. So
Snake Plissken.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about one last thing before we stop about this stuff. Why do you think why would you have not put like any of the Nightmare on Elm Streets or Jason and all that stuff, like the typical stuff?
Nightmare on Elm Street 3 almost. It made my short list. That's the Dream Warriors one.
Is that the one where he comes alive and starts eating the girl in the bed?
That is the one where they're in like a mental hospital and a lot of people are there because of suicide reasons.
Oh.
So usually whenever he killed them, he made it look like some kind, or no, because one of them was a drug overdose. They were there for whatever reasons, and usually when they died, it was from whatever vice or issue they had that they were in there for. That was when he went more comedy. Like
he started saying a lot of quips.
Yeah, and Nightmare on Elm Street 2, he kind of started it a little bit, but like 3 was when he went like full blown Freddy as we might kind of picture him today, because he wasn't like that in the first one. At least I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen the first one. Horror people are probably going nuts right now. So
because they're not on there.
You want to talk about some passionate people? Is usually
horror fans. Yeah,
horror fans are super passionate. So
that's why I stopped this halfway through and was like, "Look, these are things that we wanted to put on. We are not saying this is a definitive top 5 horror movies,
right?
By any means.
The Friday the 13th movies. I mean, they're enjoyable, but I've never really been like just super into them, I guess. Yeah. And
not what about Jason in Space? I've never seen it. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. I've seen it. It only had a few scenes that I cared for. The movie as a whole, I didn't like at all.
What a stupid concept.
Yeah.
That's totally like, you know what? We're out of ideas.
Yeah, we're out of ideas, but we need to keep the franchise going.
It was really funny though. It totally took people by storm. Like, what?
Yeah.
What are they doing?
But I mean, I don't know. I guess
I just wanted to bring that up because I'm assuming somebody might be like, well, how are they not going to put the most traditional things? Or like, for instance, I was surprised you didn't put The Shining on your list.
Again, I didn't care for them. You know, it's funny. Like I said, when I read those books, it made me not like the movies.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Well, that's all the questions I had. Freddy Krueger Krueger, sorry.
Yeah.
The Nightmare on Elm Street series, to me, I never really watched them a lot. I watched them, but I watched them like one time, maybe two.
Right.
Sometimes they came on TV and stuff. They were probably edited or whatever, but whatever. My brother is really into them. I'm sure he would probably put them on his list, I would assume.
I wonder what his list would be.
Yeah, he would have an interesting list, I think. Because that's his thing.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, I wasn't much into the Jason stuff. I mean, that's just whatever. I thought it was
the Halloweens.
Stupid. Honestly, like where he's just walking and then he's there.
Right.
It's like, I don't know.
You know what? I will actually.
I totally pulled a Trump there.
I did the remake of the Friday the 13th I actually enjoyed a little bit. It was all right. They actually almost tried to like make sense of like some of the stuff like you just said. Like, how did he always know that people were here and show up out of nowhere? Well, in that one, he had like tripwires with bells or something set up to where he could hear where the bell was, and then he'd go to that area where they were at. So they kind of made it was weird. I thought it was kind of neat that they would try and make sense of some of the stuff people always complained about.
Yeah.
So, but
I think for me, my list is mostly like most things in it are realistic. Now, that sounds stupid because they all have, some of them have zombies and stuff like that. But what I mean is, like, it's not just movie mechanisms, you know, like the Jason thing. He's walking and then bam, he's there.
Right.
That's like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Mm-hmm. So, like, a zombie able to run 300 miles an hour, that's stupid. But, you know, like in 28 Days Later, they're running because they're people.
Right.
You know, and then it explains that later on they're a lot slower.
Right.
So that's just so realistic to me, even though it's a supernatural setting in the first place, or at least we think it is. But like Saul's a realistic situation, you know, whether or not some of that stuff, you know, whatever.
Right.
Probably more so in the other films, but that's just the stuff I like. I like more realistic settings. It doesn't necessarily have to follow all laws and physics.
See, would something like Seven be a horror movie?
I think that's more of a thriller.
Yeah, maybe.
I get what you're saying. I mean, it's like borderline.
Yeah.
That it's kind of like what I was talking about, like I Am Legend. There's a lot of horror parts to it.
Right.
But not overall, I don't think it's a horror
I guess,
film.
yeah, because it's more of a detective thing. It's only the few instances where they come across the gory scenes, the different sins and stuff. So, yeah, just don't look in the box.